Alright guys, so it's finally here, the camera we've all been waiting for. Well, at least the filmmakers, the elephant in the room, which is the A7S Mark III, guys. It's here, it got announced, and it has a due date. It's dropping on September 24th, which is a Thursday, and I don't know, all cameras drop on Thursdays, I don't know why, but anyways, so September 24th, Thursday, is the day that this beast, the king of low light, it's dropping on that day. So without further ado, I'm going to be touching on the specs from this camera from a wedding filmmaker's perspective. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at certain specs of the camera, and then kind of trying to make sense on how we can apply that to the wedding filmmaking industry. So guys, without further ado, let's get into the specs. So the body of this camera, of course, is a reliable, durable construction, as Sony is saying, is putting it. And they're saying to maximize dust and moisture resistance, additional sealing has been applied to all body sims and to the battery compartment cover. And the media slot cover has been redesigned to handle harsh outdoor environments. A filter in front of the image sensor oscillates at an ultrasonic frequency of 7,000 cycles per second to remove dust from the sensor surface. The camera chassis is highly durable thanks to full magnesium alloy construction, which is dope, which is good. I mean, they've probably added more with the sealing to, like they're saying, the memory card slots, that part, the compartment over there, so that way, like water or whatever, it can go in when you're shooting during the rain. And dust resistant, like dust getting into the camera and all that stuff. So they're saying they've added more, I guess, weather sealing to this camera. You can shoot in rough, unforgiving conditions, so that's a good thing about it. You can shoot in, unforgiving conditions, such as hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, and of course during violent protests, you can go there and film. That's a crazy condition. I mean, we're going through that. Anyways, let's not go off topic, right? Let's put all our attention to this king of low light here. Anyway, so yeah, so that's that. So that's a good thing about Sony. It means, like, they've improved their weather sealing technology, and which is a good thing. So thank you, Sony, for that. And so the second thing we're going to look at here is the location of the record button. So the location of the record button. So a lot of people have been crying about the location of the record button. Oh, why don't you put it on the top? Why don't you put it on the back? Why don't you put it, like, you know, the reason why they were crying about the record button, why most people were crying about it, is because they're so used to the button being on top on all the cameras, right? So when the button goes to a certain location on a certain camera, they start crying about it. Why? Because people love comfort. People love what they're used to. So that's why all this crying was about. I think, like, people wanted to see the record button on the top because they're used to all the other cameras having that button on the top, right? So to me, I mean, if they've answered people's complaints, then that's a good thing. If a lot of people are complaining about it, then hey, that's a good thing. So thank you for listening to the consumers, Sony, and I appreciate you guys for doing all that. So let's get into honestly, after using Sony cameras for like almost a decade, like I don't even worry about that button. I'm always used to that button being on the side or on the back. So after using these cameras since like 2014, I'm used to that camera being in the back. So this location change is not really huge for me. It's not one of the things I was looking forward to, but hey, it's there. So let's go. Next one. So the menu system. So do we need the menu system? I mean, again, this is another thing whereby a lot of people are complaining about the menu system. Thing with people is they want everything to be consistent on all the cameras. Like, dude, if you are shooting on the Canon, the menu is going to be it's going to be different. If you go on a GH4, whatever, Panasonic cameras, The menus are going to be different there. If you go to Sony, the menus are going to be different. Don't expect every camera to have the same menu, same kind of layout, same everything, same color. Like, they have to do it their way, you know, because I mean, they can get sued. Some of these things, some of these layouts are like, you know, they're patented. So you can't just go and say, okay, so we're Sony, we're getting into the camera game, and we're going to take all Canon's layouts and we're going to use them in our cameras. It doesn't work like that. Then they're going to have to pay, they're going to have to be given a check to Canon every time they make a camera. Every time they sell one of these cameras, Canon starts eating this side. So they have to create their whole new own menu, which they did, and people were crying about it. But I didn't see anything wrong with it. But I mean, the new one they've just introduced in this A7S III, I like that. I like that menu more, because I mean, the fact that you can just go into video settings and then you can also just go into photo settings. So that's what I like about it. And let's talk about the touch screen thing, like where you can touch the menu and stuff like that. You know, well, that's good that you could do all that, but does it? Some people have like big thumbs, you know what I mean? So I don't know how they're gonna work that out. So hopefully you can also just use the analogs and the buttons on there to like navigate the menu. So if it can do both the touch screen and the analog to navigate the menu, Sony, you the shit. Like that's dope right there. So I like that. I like the new menu because of that. But you know, was this a big change I was looking for? Honestly, not so much. But now that it's here, I like that they did that. You know, I like that they did that. And also the sub menus that it has, so you can kind of preview options before you get to them. I like the fact that it can do that, kind of like the right button on the mouse, you know, like kind of see the options before you go to it, before you click it. So that's a good thing. What else is here? Okay, so let's go to the recording time. So recording time. So the recording time in this camera has been extended to unlimited, but the only thing is like it's unlimited unless you're shooting in 60 frames per second. There's a limit of 1 hour, so 1 hour and 60 frames per second. And if you're shooting in 120 frames per second, there's a limit of 30 minutes. As a wedding filmmaker, I like this. I love this. The reason why I love this as a wedding filmmaker is because when I'm shooting a ceremony, some ceremonies are like an hour long, some ceremonies are like 45 minutes long. So if you've watched my you know, my tutorials or my behind the scenes, I have a whole series on that. So I like the fact that, you know, there's no limit to the record time, because if I'm doing like, you know, one-man band thing, if I set a camera here and I press record and I go set a camera there, press record, you know, the triangle formula, I don't want to be running back and like, because what I do now is like I start timing 30 minutes. So that way that, you know, when it's 30 minutes, I got to go back to that camera when it's close to 30 minutes and like stop and press record again. So now with this new unlimited thing here they got, you can shoot unlimited if it's below 60 frames per second, which is amazing, which is awesome. I like that. Most weddings that I do are not, the ceremonies are not more than an hour, so we could do that. But some Catholic weddings that I do are like an hour and change and stuff, and some Indian weddings. So the other one where it's unlimited will come into play. But that's one of the things that I'm really happy about with this camera, is the fact that there is no limit to how long you can record, unless of course you're shooting in 60 frames per second, which you have a limit of 1 hour, and if you're shooting in 120 frames per second, you have a limit of 30 minutes. So that's a good thing. Thank you, Sony, for this. So they have a new heat management system which helps dissipate air throughout the camera so that it doesn't overheat like its competition. The other cameras that are overheating, the ones that I can't name. Man up, Canon R5. Those cameras are overheating. So they have this whole new system that, you know, helps dissipate air. Well, I guess dissipate, that's what Sony says. But so I guess Canon's R&D department were kind of playing around, you know, or maybe their shareholders, instead of putting more money into the R&D department to find a technology that is going to help with overheating, their shareholders went out to go and buy some Bentleys and some mansions somewhere in Russia. Anyways, I'm watching too much Netflix. The only cameras that I had that were from Sony that usually used to overheat a lot is the A6000 and the, what was that, the A6100, I think it was. Anyways, I'm not gonna go there. Thank you for confronting that problem, Sony. We appreciate you guys, okay? Yeah. Anyway, so number 5 is that the flip screen. So the flip screen, do we need it as wedding filmmakers? Honestly, I was okay with the regular tilt, whatever Sony has. I'm okay with that screen. So that, I feel like the whole flipping to where it turns around and faces you, you can't do that. You can't do that at weddings, guys. Let's be serious. Like, have you ever shot a wedding with that like that? You can't, right? So that's more for vloggers. I think for that, Sony was targeting YouTubers by them adding that feature where you can kind of like flip the camera to face you so you can actually like see yourself and stuff like that. But for wedding filmmakers, I don't think that, we need that function with the screen to flip around. But you know, it's good to have it to where you can have it low and then like flip it all the way up and stuff like that. But yeah, it's, I mean, at least, I mean, then again, Sony, thank you for listening to your consumers. So that, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to take away from Sony for that. They listened to the people and they delivered. So that's what matters. That was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. So number 6, video specs. So it has 12 megapixels. So it's still 12 megapixels. The A7S one, which is filming me right now, is 12 megapixels. A7S 2 is 12 megapixels. A7S 3, 12 megapixels. So like its predecessors, like, I mean, I guess that allows for better sensitivity due to the large pixels, and that's making it beast of low light. Okay, so I guess that helps it with the whole low light situations and the sensitivity. So to be honest, the low light capabilities are the only reason why I invested in this camera the first time when it came out. All the cameras that I had prior to the A7S couldn't handle low light situations. So the reception is the only reason why I bought the A7S one when it came out. Okay, now I didn't buy it immediately. I didn't have that kind of money. I waited till the 2 came out, and then the 1 went down in price, and then I bought the 1, and I was using that for a while. Anyways, so the low light capabilities are the only reason why this camera, why I even buy or worry about this camera, is because of its low light situations. Because most weddings receptions happen at night, and you know, you can't always rely on light, on like light sources. Sometimes you don't have the light there. So if a camera is good in low light and you just complement it a little bit with some type of light, it's just amazing. So this camera out the box is amazing when it comes to low light. So that's the only reason why I purchased this camera, for the low light capabilities that it has. And now I guess, I mean, it's still good in low light. So yeah, so the 12 megapixels is what makes it, you know, what enables it to be so good in low light situations. So I don't mind that, because I've never like considered this camera for photos. I don't take photos with this camera. It's strictly a video camera. So the low light is still good in this camera. You know, as everybody's talking about, and it's so good for wedding receptions. So all the grain, all the video noise with this camera, you don't have it. Once I saw what this camera could do in receptions, I was like, no video noise, no grain, sign me up, you know. So that's the whole reason why I got into the whole Sony A7S thing. Anyway, so yeah, so that's about the low light. I love the low light this camera offers, and if I can only buy this camera just for the low light to help me out in receptions, I definitely will. I definitely will buy this camera just for the low light capabilities that it has. So, so like I said, I'm here for the 1080p. I'm not here for the 4K, because with weddings, I never shoot in 4K. I don't have the computing power to mess around with 4K right now. You know, I mean, your average Joe can tell, you know, between 8K, 6K, 4K. So I think, you know, these are huge files. Like, people don't understand, like 4K files are huge. Like, you need the computing power to, you know, to be able to play those files back without any lag or any chop and stuff like that. You need large storage and you need all these things. Like, you need the computing power. You need some structure in place to handle 4K files. So that's why I just shoot in 1080p. I can manage those files. My computer can manage those files. So that's that, guys. So with the whole 4K thing, if your computer can handle that computing, has that computing power, go ahead and, you know, shoot in 4K all you want. But for right now, I'm gonna stick with the 1080p. Anyway, so let's get to the Bayans XR system that they got here. So this camera has a new image processing engine with up to 8 times the processing performance than its predecessors. So they have a new engine in this. They have a new processing engine, which is they're calling it the Bayans XR. Okay, Sony, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, so they're saying that of course it has 8 times more processing power, and basically from what I read from the specs, it's just, you know, it's more powerful and it's faster, you know, handling everything from data transfer to read speeds, write speeds. So it's just basically it's faster. It's like a fast computer. It's like a computer with 8 GB RAM versus a computer with 32 GB RAM. Like, you know, that's blowing it out the water. It's like HDD versus SSD. Like, you know, you can't, like, SSD is just fast, you know. It's just, anyways. So I guess the new engine is faster. That's what they're saying from here. Like, the processing power is faster, and data transfer and all that good stuff, all the autofocus things, like, it makes all that stuff just like fast. So the autofocus of it and all that stuff, this all fast. But if you want to go into details on the whole buy-ins, whatever, make sure you check out my uncle. His name is Tony Northramp on here on YouTube. That's my uncle. Make sure you go watch his video on this camera. Anyways, so this new system also is what helps to eliminate the rolling shutter, right? So this whole new engine is what helps reduce. I don't think it eliminates it. I mean, I have to test it, but I guess it reduces the rolling shutter problem, which you know, I guess from now on going forward with the A7S line, the rolling shutter is a thing of the past, right? All right, let's get to dynamic range, right? So dynamic range, so the picture profile settings, of course, they have new picture profiles in there and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into all the picture profile stuff because I personally just put it on neutral. I don't use any picture profiles, okay? That's like for people who are not professionals, like they have like presets and shit like that. But as a pro, I just put it on neutral and sometimes on S-Log, which I don't like S-Log, to be honest with you, because of it's hard. S-Log is hard to grade, like for real. Like S-Log is hard to grade, but they're saying that this new S-Log they got going on here is gonna be, it's easier to grade and the colors are better and stuff like that. Because Canon has like beautiful color, right? So Sony is saying that, you know, it's easy to edit the S-Log they got now, and the colors are good and stuff like that. So I'm gonna see about that, because I really I like that about the new technology, because of the whole color system that they've improved. And they're saying the dynamic range is 15 stops, which is like more than the, you know, predecessor, which I guess it just make it, they're saying that basically you just get more details. It just returns more details when you shoot in RAW. It just returns more details in post-production, which is always a beautiful thing, Sony. Thank you for that. Thank you for innovating, and thank you for pushing the camera game industry forward, because now other manufacturers have to kind of like tap this or match this. So thank you for innovating, Sony. So we're gonna move on to the memory cards here. This camera has 4 card slots. They're saying it's the first camera ever in the world to have 4 card slots. Are you shitting me? why do you need 4 card slots? Anyways, but so there's 2 card slots for the regular SDXC and SDHC cards, like the regular cards, right? The regular cards we all use, right? So basically it has 2 slots for those cards, the regular cards, and then it has 2 slots for a new CF Express Type A cards. So this is like, so Sony is saying the CF Express Type A cards are the next standard for compact storage with fast write read speeds suitable for both high-speed continuous still shooting and 4K movie recording at high bit rates. They're capable of quickly clearing camera buffers even when high volumes of still image and movie data are being generated. Wow, that's crazy. I like that. So those new cards, I guess they're the shit. Those cards, I guess they're gonna also be the new standard moving forward. So Sony, again, thank you for innovating. We love you, Sony. We love you. Anyways, so external storage recording. So that helps for people who are shooting in 4K. That helps, but I don't shoot in 4K. So the whole external storage recording thing, I don't really do that because I don't shoot huge files. But for my colleagues that shoot huge files, that's a plus. Thank you, Sony, for that whole external storage thing that you've innovated here. I don't think this is an innovation. I think they've just made it possible for this camera to do that because I know cinema cameras do this. So on to the next one. Okay, so audio quality. Honestly, I don't really care about like audio quality. I always use external audio anyways. Like, I'm not gonna go into details about that. I'm gonna let if you want to go into details about audio, go check out my uncle Tony Northrup. Okay, he's gonna go through everything. So Tony Northrup. Okay, yeah. All right. So they have upgraded the HDMI. So they have the big regular HDMI. So what this does is this makes it easier to broadcast in real time as you record. This will help some of you guys, some of my colleagues that shoot live events. So it's not going to be a hassle to connect an HDMI to like a projector or to like a TV screen somewhere where let's say the speaker is talking and then there's a huge screen behind him, kind of like a close up so people that are further out can kind of see the speaker there. So it's going to be easy with this new with this camera having the huge HDMI port, because I mean all these venues have the bigger HDMI, so it's more easy. They've set it up for you to just like connect the camera there. So this new HDMI thing, I like that. So let's move on to the viewfinder. I mean, actually, who gives a shit about the viewfinder? Honestly, like, oh my bad. Photographers, okay. But I mean, this is mostly a videographer's camera. Anyways, so I ain't even gonna talk about the viewfinder because personally I don't even use it for video. I mean, I just like look on the screen for video. I don't look in the viewfinder. I mean, I might look to kind of like check if my my lighting is right and stuff like that. But usually I just look on the screen. I don't usually look in the viewfinder. That's mostly what photographers do. So with that being said, they're saying that this new viewfinder is like it's like looking into glass, like clear, right? But I mean, I'm not really. Let me not even go there because that's not a big thing with filmmakers. With wedding filmmakers, we usually don't use the viewfinder. Okay, guys, we use external monitors or just look on the camera's LCD, whatever in the back. Anyway, so that's the viewfinder. Rolling shutter. So the new system, the whole system they have, the Bionz XR system, allows the rolling shutter to be reduced. So how does this help wedding filmmakers? Honestly, it doesn't really help wedding filmmakers. This helps people who shoot like fast moving action like sports and that kind of stuff, right? So for wedding filmmakers, I mean, it's a good thing to have, but we don't usually shoot like fast moving action. So that's more on like the sports and fast paced action. So rolling shutter is a good improvement from Sony. Again, thank you for innovating, Sony. Thank you. The feature I was mostly looking forward to was the subject tracking, So I'm stoked about this feature. I mean, everyone seems to be going crazy, like over the tracking system. So why is this good for weddings? So it's good for weddings because at least you can lock on the bride's eye during the, the ceremony, especially the ceremony when she's standing and there are other people. It's gonna make it easy to kind of like autofocus, focus on the bride and keep the continuous focus on the bride and stuff like that, and also the groom and stuff. And if the bride and groom are like walking, you can kind of like lock onto their eyes and stuff like that. And if they're dancing and stuff like that, you can do that. So that was one of the features that I was most excited about, which was the whole eye tracking system. So I'm very happy that Sony has delivered on this feature. And last but not least, let's talk about the price. So does all these features justify the price? Is it underpriced or overpriced? I think it's slightly underpriced for what it does. I honestly, my opinion, I think it's slightly underpriced. I mean, like you got cameras that cost more than this camera, and they kind of do the same thing, but those cameras are overheating. I mean, I'm not shitting on Canon. I mean, they're probably gonna get it right, but like, if you're gonna charge me like $4,900 for a camera, you better not. You better make sure this shit doesn't overheat, bro. Like, I'm returning that shit. I'm returning that, and I'm getting my money back, and I'm going to something that's not gonna overheat. Anyway, so yeah, it's worth the asking price, and I think it's slightly underpriced for what it does. But hey, I mean, you want more, go to the cinema cameras. This is more for this level. So for wedding filmmakers, I mean, it's reasonably priced. I mean, it's a good investment. You definitely make your money back after a few weddings. And some people will make their money back after one wedding. I mean, everybody charges different prices depending on where you're at, right? And yeah, and your clientele. So yeah. So in conclusion, will I be getting this camera? You dang right I will. So with that said, guys, I didn't want to make this video too long, so it was hard to keep this video short. So if you've watched till the end, make sure you subscribe to your boy's channel, and I'm gonna be dropping a video once every week here, or maybe even twice, but I'm gonna try and keep up with you guys and at least drop a video once every week. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button before you go. Make sure you hit that like button. I don't care about the subscribe, just the like button I really care about, guys. I don't care about the subscribe, but make sure you smash the like button, guys. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. It's your boy Francis.